We're always so worried about everything that's going on around us. And I see this especially in women, that we want to take care so much that we don't honor ourselves to give ourselves that care. It's okay to not do anything. We've got you.
Okay, we're live. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Amir.
Hey, everybody. We're here with Angela Lightsey from Tybee Wellness Retreats. And Tybee Island is a little alcove off the east coast of Savannah, Georgia. So you do offer group programs, but individualized experiences within the group program.
Yes.
Yeah. How big are the groups?
We do 8 to 12. We keep it small. It is a very intimate environment. It's like a super elevated slumber party. It is all women at the moment.
Okay.
But it's got a really special quality in that the feedback that I get constantly is that women feel very comfortable and free to be themselves from the minute they come in the door. So to be able to have that comfort level as soon as you're entering a space is valuable, because you're not in the retreat for a super long period of time.
Yeah. There's always that sort of that first day or so where everybody's kind of strangers. They don't know each other, and you're kind of like looking around, seeing what the safety level is, see the vibe and the facilitator, and you got to get comfortable. And somebody usually is the one that kind of breaks the ice and opens up and becomes vulnerable first, which then allows everybody else to do so. So it's nice to be in an environment that sort of accelerates that process so that you can arrive and be open and then have the experience for the duration of the retreat.
Yes, I often joke that it's the ones that we do on Tybee are long weekends. So it's the longest, fastest weekend ever.
What do you do to facilitate that sort of ice breaking and to let people be comfortable? Like, do you have like a special trick or a process you do?
Well, I've learned throughout the years that we have a certain order that we do things in for our group experiences. And for instance, the first afternoon that everyone gets there, we have orientation and intention setting. And then we have our first meal together, which we have purposefully made a home style comfort food sort of experience. We don't dine separately. We do everything together. And then the first night after dinner, we have a sound bath, which is an excellent way to bring the mind and the body into a comfortable state.
Get everybody on the same wavelength, literally.
Get everybody in the vibrational. And then, if they've been traveling all day, it gives them the relaxation. They'll have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And then we're ready for the next day's adventures.
What kinds of, what state of mind or what conditions or situations are people in when they're coming to you? Is this more for burnt out professionals or people on a cliff like you were? Or how are people coming into the Tybee retreats?
So every retreat has been a mix of a lot of different needs. So we have women who are going through similar things that I went through, going through a divorce, we have empty nesters that come that are trying to acclimate to not having their kids at home. We have birthdays, people coming to just celebrate themselves. So divorces, like I said, all different reasons. And some women just love retreats, and they're coming and they want it because they know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
I have several clients that have come multiple times. I have 2 sisters coming next month that this will be their 3rd retreat.
Wow.
And I also do international retreats. I've got a June retreat in Guatemala, which is longer, and that's digs a little bit deeper. A lot of my clients that come to Tybee also join us on those international retreats. And I'm proud to say that last year I had 4 women that had never been out of the country before.
Wow.
So that level of trust that we're creating with our clients is really high. And I'm very proud of that.
Amazing. And you're probably have that innately in you from the hospitality background, and you know how to make people feel comfortable and welcomed and warm, and at the same time make sure all the logistics are handled and there isn't anything sort of like popping out of left field. And so that allows people to open up much quicker.
Yeah, I think also I was born with some of that. I think that's my one of my superpowers, and I think we all have several.
um, I want to go back to your experience at that retreat before you started the Tybee Wellness Retreats. Can you talk a little bit about more about sort of the the transformation that you had, or the emotional state you were in before going into that retreat, and then at what point did you realize, like, hey, this is something I want to do? Because you mentioned that you turned to your girlfriend and you said, hey, I could do this, but like, why do this, and what was it for you that really turned on?
I think it was one of those moments of complete clarity. It was one of those moments that if we're paying attention in our lives, that we see the synchronicity and we are given the gift of seeing the sign.
Hmm.
And the sign for me in that moment when she asked me that question, why not, was that I did not have a good answer. And I recognized that all of my old past behaviors were coming up. Well, it's going to be really risky. I don't know if it'll take off. What if I can't do it? What, all those questions and all those things we tell ourselves
Yeah.
as human beings
Yeah.
to not stay on our authentic path. So for me, it was that one simple question from a person that I know and love and trust that gave me that space to really step into what I'm supposed to be doing, because there's no doubt in my mind that I'm supposed to be facilitating for women.
Has that always been there? I mean, I know some people kind of have it in them to be coaches and to facilitate. Is that something that gets switched on at a certain time, or is that something that's always been there for you?
I think that it has always been there, but it took me a while to figure it out and to find it. And everything in my life that happened led me to this point. And if I look back, I can say, okay, now I understand why I had to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being able to walk beside other women while they're going through a similar experience.
This is like what I call a pit stop retreat. You go and you take a pit stop and you just let go of everything. You fill up your tank, you get loved up by your sisters and the facilitator, and that space allows you to just tune in and listen to what that voice is trying to tell you all along. And oftentimes, some important life decisions come out of it. Yeah.
I have one rule at the retreats, and that one rule is you're not allowed to pick up your plate after dinner. That we're going to do that for
Oh,
you
why?
because it's so difficult for women not to get up and help. And it's really interesting because I announced that on the first night.
You get like reactions. People are like
I get
stressed.
very strong reactions, and it's like this deep seated, no, I must help. I must help. You're doing this for me. I must help. What you were saying reminds me of that, because we're always so worried about everything that's going on around us. And I see this especially in women, that we want to take care so much that we don't honor ourselves to give ourselves that care. So not being allowed to take your plate to the sink is symbolic of a lot of things in life. It's okay to not do anything for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
We've got you.
Why Tybee? Tell me about Tybee. I don't know much about Georgia and Savannah. I mean, I'm from Texas, so technically I should know more about the South. But tell me about the beauty of Tybee and what that has to offer, Tybee Island.
Sure. And that's okay. Not a lot of people, I'm actually surprised when I travel the world if someone has heard of Tybee, but it is a beautiful hidden gem. We are right outside of Savannah, Georgia, which most people have heard of Savannah, Georgia, the beautiful southern
Yeah.
moss and the trees and the ghosts and all those things. But we are about 25 minutes from downtown Savannah on an island. And we have about 2,000 people that live here year round. And we just have this beautiful environment to host retreats. So I'm from Savannah originally, but I've been on Tybee for 20 years.
What's the
And I
vibe? Is
have
it
a
island vibes?
school age child.
I'm gonna pull up the
Yep.
screen here. What's the vibe of Tybee Island? Is it like small
It
beach town?
is
So here's Savannah,
eclectic.
by the way, for anybody. Here's Savannah, just right off the East Coast, north of Florida, for the people in the other parts of the world.
Yeah.
The Savannah, and this is right outside. So you're what, like a 20-minute drive from
20,
the city?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're coming in. Oh, there's beaches, white sand beaches.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. What's the vibe like? Is
Oh,
it like
that's okay.
touristy?
It is a really sort of eclectic, artsy town. We have people who've lived here their entire lives. And then we have a younger population that comes in. We do have a lot of tourists during specific times of the year,
Mm-hmm.
but we are centered on, you're looking at it right now, the northern end of the island,
Near the
which is a lot
lighthouse?
more secluded and less busy. We are
Yeah.
actually right near, you just clicked on the lighthouse. The
Yeah.
retreat house is right near that lighthouse.
This one, the station,
Yes. So
Tybee
you can
Island Light
actually
Station.
see that lighthouse from the porches of the retreat.
Okay. So it's walkable to the beach.
Yes. And we
Great.
practice yoga on the beach as much as we can, weather permitting.
Nice. So it feel, I mean, I would assume that it would feel like it's a beach town or like pretty far away, even though you're 20 minutes from Savannah.
Yeah, that's
So,
what's great about it, because it is a small little beach town, but we have this bigger city
yeah.
close by.
So it's kind of, you get the sense that you're doing a destination retreat, but you're actually quite close. Everything's right there. But what are some of the other practices or activities that you bring in to
So,
create
like I
a,
said, on the first night, we do the intention setting, meditation ceremony, and then we have our sound healing that evening. And then the next day, we do yoga, and then we have a meditative art workshop. We have our interactive energy workshop where guests are working with one another and learning how to hold energy and protect their own energy. It's
mm,
really cool. And you can actually see where your aura
mm,
stops with this
mm-hmm.
practice. And then we have yoga again. And then on Sunday, again, yoga
Here's the
twice.
yoga.
And then we have
I
a
got a picture of the
coaching
yoga here.
workshop. And we have a closing ceremony as well.
Here's a picture of the yoga. I'm on your site. Beach yoga, that's great. So this was for all levels, right? You can come as a beginner. You don't have to even be limber at all. This is all kinds of, looking at these pictures, looks like you got all different age groups here, all different backgrounds.
We hosted a retreat last weekend, and our youngest was 38 and our oldest was 68.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yes. So that's really wonderful too, because there's an opportunity to learn from multi-generational women. And it seems that that is typical.
It's a nice mix. Like you get that youthful energy, and then you get the wisdom energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can support each other and give each other their love and support. This is great. I love it. And do people tend to create relationships and bonds? Do people walk away keeping in touch with each other?
Yes. So I am very hands-on. Any of my clients can tell you I'm there for the majority of the retreats, which is also unique in a retreat setting.
Yeah.
But I always have a group chat for each retreat
Beforehand.
and throughout the weekend,
Yeah.
in case
So
anybody
smart.
needs to know where anything is, or I can
Yeah.
send one out and say, hey, don't forget to grab your blocks for yoga this evening. But I get messages on those from groups that have been here 3 years ago, and it makes my day every single time, because they'll a text will pop up and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, I just made Ruby's beet Reuben." Ruby's one of the chefs.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
great.
yes, they're communicating, and I'm on the group text, so I get to communicate too, which is a gift for me, because to be able to create those types of relationships is really special.
That's one of the things I love about it too, is creating those bonds with people that were a couple days ago complete strangers, but now you open up together and you have this kind of foundation of trust and empathy that can oftentimes lead to lifelong friendships
Yeah.
and connections.
I had two women meet at one of the retreats on Tybee, and they traveled together to Guatemala last year. And they
Now,
had just met
on your retreat or just together?
on the retreat.
Okay, so
Well, they
you kind
met at
of
the Tybee retreat, and then they made friends at the Tybee retreat, and they
yeah,
came to Guatemala together.
to the Tybee Guatemala trip. I mean, not Tybee, your Guatemala trip. You
Yes.
came together. Okay, so yeah, you were alluding to this before. So this is the big thing coming up
Yeah.
is Guatemala.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. What is behind this? Is now your destination thing. So the Tybee ones on Tybee Island are happening regularly. Is it monthly?
Yeah. So
Those are
the ones on Tybee, they're great because if you are in a professional setting, you may not be able to take too much time off of work.
yeah.
It's perfect for that because it's easy to get to. It kind of gives you a lot of different variations of healing in a short amount of time. And it's a very powerful experience.
And you
So
don't
I
need a passport.
created the Guatemala retreat. I traveled all over Central America myself because I'm called to that part of the world. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but I am. And so I went to several different countries. And when I got to Villa Sumaya on Lake Atitlan, that was it. So this will be my fourth year hosting a group at Villa Samaya on Lake Atitlan, Guatemala. And this one is a
Ooh.
week. So it's June 21st through June 28th of this year. And I bring my main yoga teacher, Lori, and
Mm-hmm.
she does the yoga, and I get to really dive in. And you said the word earlier, and it gave me tingles, intuition. So we're diving in really, really deeply on how to connect to your intuition and how to navigate with your knowing
Mm.
rather than listening to these outside sources. So that really, as you can tell, that gets me really excited.
Yeah.
And we also have a waterfall hike that we do with the local eco farm. We go shopping, and you're looking at all the pictures
Yeah.
of the city. That's Villa Sumaya. We do a
This is where
Mayan
the magic
fire.
happens.
I'm sorry.
This is the venue space. This is where the magic happens. The
Yeah.
retreat space.
Yeah.
Well, often
It's
I find
gorgeous.
that when I'm on retreat, like a lot of practices happen in the group setting, and that's great too. But then sometimes for me, I'll go into my room and have a private moment and have a transformational shift just in private by myself, because of the processes that I went through in the group setting, and then they keep percolating and they keep working. And I find that sometimes just going off into my room is where like a shift happens, and I'm like, oh my god. Then I can come back and integrate back in with the group.
Yes, I hear that for sure.
Oh, this is great. This looks beautiful. Waterfall hike. This is it. That's the waterfall hike.
Yeah, that's the waterfall hike.
Awesome.
And a local farm tour we do. And we have one of my favorite things that we do is a Mayan fire ceremony with a local shaman. His name is Tomas. And he
Uh,
actually channels while facilitating the Mayan fire ceremony. It's incredible. And then he does Mayan readings afterward for anybody who wants to sign up for that.
okay. Mayan fire ceremony.
Yes.
I saw a picture of somebody that looked like they were doing something with fire here. Is that kind of like a Hindu puja? Are they like saying prayers and chants? Is
He
this it?
is. Yes. He's saying that's Tomas.
Okay.
He's saying prayers and chants, and a lot of in the Mayan culture, it's directional
What
and
do you mean?
elemental.
What do you mean directional?
He's using the energy of the directions, north, south, east,
Hmm.
west, and also the elements that he's working with.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then
But
you do like intention setting and you're like letting go of stuff. What's the kind of context of the fire ceremony?
so I've been to three, and they've never been the same
Mm.
because he's channeling. So he's getting messaging. He has, for my participants, just got wild information for them that there's no way he could have known, like an affirmation for them, or
Hmm.
that their brother who is deceased, he can feel their presence and said their name, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a really powerful ceremony. And what's interesting about the ceremony is we do it in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So then you got all day to walk around with that magic.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's phenomenal. We also do a sweat lodge ceremony with Paula. And she is from Mexico. So that's more in her tradition, but it
Yeah.
is equally as powerful.
Okay.
There's a lot of chanting and
So Lake Atitlan. Let's go back to Google. Guatemala. What is Guatemala easy to get to for Americans in terms of visas and stuff?
so Guatemala City is easy to get to for Americans, and probably for a lot of the rest of the world as well. What happens for this retreat is everyone flies into Guatemala City,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I have a private transfer from Guatemala City to Villa Samaya, which is about a 3 hour, but it's a private transfer with a company I've been using for several years, and they're
Like,
fantastic. So,
like shuttles or
and
something?
traveling through Guatemala is not like a typical highway system that we're accustomed to in America. So you're seeing Guatemala when you're
Yeah.
taking that airport transfer. So you're driving through the little villages and
This
seeing the
winding road
beautiful
through the
people that live
villages and
there. And
yeah, I can imagine you going through here. Yeah, I was just in Costa Rica last year, and that was a journey too, going through the dirt roads and everything. I don't know if these are paved roads or dirt, but it's different. Just arrive like when you land, it's like, oh, we're not in Kansas anymore. this
yeah,
is this is a
yeah,
different place.
yeah. But I've made it very easy, especially like I said, I've had people who've never left the country, who may have some of that travel anxiety.
Yeah.
I've taken out all the pieces, so if you can get yourself to Guatemala City Airport on this day,
Hmm.
everything else is taken care of for you.
You just get cradled and picked up
Hmm.
and loved up.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, look at all these 4.8. The lake itself has a 4.8 star review.
Yeah.
It's a
So
popular lake.
there's three volcanoes on the lake. Two of
Oh,
them are active. I could literally feel when I arrived. I took the little boat. You're looking at one of the boat docks
yeah.
there, and that's how you get around the lake. You hop on these little boats, and they take you everywhere.
Oh, and you guys do boat rides too during the retreat? Can
Yes,
you?
that's how you
Oh,
get to the villages.
oh wow.
Yeah. So when I put my feet on that earth near those volcanoes, it was like, poof, this is the place. And I knew it. It was one of those spiritual moments, similar to the why don't you do the retreats moment.
This looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at these volcanoes. Beautiful. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, so we have mountains close. They're not exactly volcanoes; they're mountains. So this looks really majestic and beautiful, and I can recognize beautiful mountains when I see them. Great, I love it. I love it. So, what do people need to know in order to like prepare for Guatemala or decide to come? What do you think?
Well, I
Where do you
will
think they
say
should be?
that
Like,
one
who
month
would this be
prior to
for?
leaving, I'm sorry,
Like, who would this be for? Like, what?
this would be for a woman who is looking to expand on her own journey, who may be interested in tapping into her intuition, knowing that it's there, and who maybe for the majority of her life has been listening to all the other voices instead of her own.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that it would be beneficial for many women.
Is it a thing where you should probably come to the Tybee Island retreat before the Guatemala one, or anybody can come to Guatemala with you?
Anybody can come to Guatemala.
Okay. There's no
I had
prerequisite.
someone from Australia that joined me one year, and then last year I had a couple people from New York. So typically I have some clients that have come to Tybee, but then I have others who have not,
Mm-hmm.
who want that really deep connection with their intuition, who want a women's retreat, who want that the age ranges. I find that sometimes when I speak to women, the retreats that they're looking at, they feel like it's a younger
Yeah.
base and they
Yeah.
want a more mature
Yeah.
group, which we offer.
I'm not getting the sort of goddess vibes where you guys are wearing like feather earrings and like that kind of stuff. This is
Oh,
more
yeah.
just, oh yeah, we got the feather earrings too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Great.
I almost wore them on our call, but I didn't.
Okay, fine.
We like to be decadent sometimes.
Sure. I've never been on a women's retreat, so I don't really know what goes on in these.
Yeah, well, you're missing out. I'm going to tell you that.
Okay, so the Guatemala seems really enticing. The Tybee ones are ongoing, so really convenient, especially for domestic travel. Come for the weekend and have a sort of relaxing and getting in touch with yourself. And then the Guatemala is a destination. That's a life adventure. It's a life experience. And then you also do, before the call we were talking, you also do private retreats. What are those about?
So I have an option for a private retreat in my rental space. And what women have done in the past, it could be one woman, it could be up to 6. I wouldn't recommend that many. I would say 1 to 3. And you can actually curate your own retreat. So you can come to me and say, Angela, I am looking to change my career path. And I'll talk to you about that and see what you are looking for specifically energetically. So you wouldn't have the chef that we have at
Mm-hmm.
the immersive retreats. That piece would not be there, but we can customize everything else. So if you're feeling like you need to go on a shamanic journey, I can set that up for you. If you want to have a private yoga class, 2 of the mornings that you're here with us, I can schedule that for you.
Yeah.
So that's really for someone who wants to have that private immersion and kind of piece together everything that they want to do rather than being in a group setting.
So like a bespoke custom retreat just for yourself or a small group of friends, perhaps up to 6 people.
Yeah, or you and your husband.
Okay.
We can do couples. Yep.
Okay. And that's also on Tybee Island.
It is.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this is super cool. I'm just looking on your website some more. I guess the Guatemala could be a nice conference of everybody who's been on the Tybee Island retreats. Call everybody up and say, come to Guatemala together.
And some of them do.
I see a thing on your site for corporate as well. Is that something is that a big deal for you, or what's the corporate retreats like?
Well, we can do small corporate retreats from 8 to 12, and we can do a mix of genders for that.
That's a little
We
bit more
had
kind of professional co-ed stuff.
I had a group of 12 doctors that came and we did a private custom retreat for them. And I'm also partnered with a large hotel out here on Tybee, so we can now do 100 people.
Yeah, I saw that with Hotel Tybee. I saw that on your, wow. So you could get into larger groups and for corporates or meetings.
Yes.
Okay.
And we also can travel anywhere.
So you keep saying we, and I'm just came up on this screen here about the team.
Yeah.
And the facilitators and stuff. Let's talk about, so obviously Angela yourself, and you're very involved with the actual sessions. And so if people are called to work with you, they're going to get you during the retreats. But then we've got a slew of facilitators here. So Lori is the yoga and pranayama expert. She's full-time on Tybee. Great. You got the chef, Ruby. Well, look, you said that she's not available for the private retreats, but I'm guessing for a price, anything can be arranged.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm the only person that she cooks for now. She's a retired yacht chef.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
it's amazing. And
you must have some amazing recipes.
so all of these women that you're seeing on your screen right now, I know how incredible they are. So I get out of their way. So, for example, Ruby came to me and she said, "What do you think about edible glitter?" And I said, "I think you should do whatever you want." And it's become a big deal.
Edible glitter.
She's very creative. She's also our artist. So we have a lot of fun. Yeah.
So we got energy work. Sue
Hmm.
is the resident Reiki master.
Yes.
We got massage by Chrissy. So are all these services happening during the retreat, during the Tybee retreat? Massage
So
therapist? These are like add-ons.
when the workshops are not happening, when we have free time, they can book one-on-one sessions.
Great.
And we have everything from a Swedish massage to a past life regression hypnosis. So
Okay, so they
anywhere
get
you
their free
are,
time in there to either spend downtime or retain a service for additional treatments.
yes.
Life coach, dream interpreter with Amy, energy and sound healer, tarot, natal chart reading, shamanic journey. Do you do medicine work, medicine journeys?
We do. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. What type of medicine are you?
Um, like mushrooms or ayahuasca or anything else?
We do not do that here. It's not legal in Georgia.
Okay. Different jurisdictions have different
Yeah.
Reiki, more Reiki. Wow, what a roster of professionals. Boudoir photography.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Massage therapist, and it keeps going. Tarot. Awesome.
I mean, both of my main chefs, one's a chef and an artist, and the other one is a chef and a medium tarot reader. So when I was interviewing Amber, she said, "I normally don't tell people this, but I'm going to tell you I'm a medium." And I said, "That is great."
Yeah. So you can channel your recipes.
We love this. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so Angela, thanks for giving our audience kind of a taste of your vibe and what you're all about. I think just by hearing your voice and hearing about your retreats from yourself is going to give them a greater insight as to whether they're called and attracted to work with you. So I would recommend a phone call with Angela. If you have a particular direction you want to go, whether it's the Tybee Island retreats for the weekend and you can pick a weekend. You said he was doing them like once a month. So those are happening regularly, whether you want to go for the bigger life adventure and go to Guatemala with the group, or even if you want a private retreat, Angela can set you up in any of those directions, but probably a phone call makes sense. So we're going to have opt-in forms under the video and attached to the article that this is on for people to submit an inquiry, and then Angela and her team are going to reach out to you and start that conversation. So I think it's obvious from this conversation, like who this would be for, and if this is the right kind of style of conversation and the right style of retreat that's right for you. I'd encourage you to give Angela a call and just start that conversation, right?
Yeah.
And just see if it's right. Is there anything else you want to say to folks as they are kind of contemplating or thinking about how to spend their downtime?
I don't know about downtime, but what
Well,
just came to me is I have a lot of women who are kind of on the fence about trying a retreat, are really, really curious about it, but there's that fear piece.
mm-hmm.
And I love that you have invited people to call me, because that's absolutely my favorite thing, is to connect with my guests and hopefully alleviate some of that fear that comes along with this journey and not knowing.
Yeah.
Because the not knowing is some of the most powerful medicine that we can give ourselves. So to be able to connect with someone who's potentially thinking of joining us is a gift for me as well. So I would love to talk to anyone who wants to connect.
Yeah, they absolutely should. And I keep saying this over and over again, kind of off camera, but the retreat industry and shopping for a retreat is such a unique thing. It's become, in the industry wide, it's become a bit commodified, where like you go to a directory, even on Retreat Finder, you go to a directory and it's like 5-day yoga retreat in Crete or 7-day yoga meditation retreat in Costa Rica or whatever, right? And they become very two-dimensional, kind of like you're going to orbits and you're booking a flight, where kind of maybe some airlines give you peanuts and some don't, but a seat on a plane is basically a seat on a plane. That's not the case for retreats. A retreat experience is so unique and so dependent upon what the facilitator brings to the table. And this goes way beyond the nice environment and the accommodations and the food and the this and that. It's the actual transformational experience that can be created by the facilitator and the dynamic between the facilitator and the participants and the seekers. And having that right connection point will drastically improve your ability to just let go and to put yourself in a position to have a transformational experience.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of us that have been around the block a few times, we can, and I have a practice that when I go into an experience, I'm like, look, this could be great, it could be meh, but I'm going to put my intentionality into it and I'm going to get the most out of this for whatever is there. I'm going to like pour myself into this and get something out of it regardless. And so if you've done this a few times, you can kind of get value out of any kind of retreat experience. But especially if you're in a beginner state, being led by a quality facilitator that knows how to walk you through and guide you through a letting go process and a relaxing process and a trust and intuition process is so critical to having a good retreat experience. So
Absolutely.
That's why I'm encouraging everybody. And from your side too, as a retreat leader, you kind of want to do a vibe check on people. You don't want just everybody showing up. So there's a bit of a curation process around who is showing up to these retreats, and filtering out people that may not be a good fit, with your group or with the others or the other participants or whatever. So I always encourage these conversations to happen. Yeah. Even if it's not like a hard, sales call, have the conversation, explore it, and see if it's the right fit for yourself and Angela. So, yeah, I'll get off the soapbox now. Angela, thank you so much for your time. We're going to stay on. I'm going to stop the recording. We'll stay on and have a little chat afterwards. But like I said, for anybody that's interested, we'll have the opt-in forms down below or to the side or wherever they are. Check out the page and get a conversation going. So thanks for sharing your retreats with our Retreat Finder community.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.